count of those.
That'll be fine.
Can I get your driver's license or ID?
Yes. Good. I could have sent an imposter. I didn't even think about that.
What's that?
I could have sent an imposter. I didn't even think about that.
Can you take it out for me, please?
Maybe. I travel with.
That's
a
okay. Just leave it. Just
I
leave it there.
travel with a passport because I can't get it out. If I fool with it a little while, I might be able to get it out.
No, that's all right.
Nice German name.
You said your husband's in construction?
Mm-hmm. He owns PSBI, for steel buildings.
Steel building, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I hope you're not planning on finding me at that address because we just bought the house and it's under construction.
Oh, Lothian?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew somebody that lived up on Lothian. Up
Yeah,
on
it's
Meridian?
great area, but original owner from 1958 needed some updating. So.
Okay. When did you buy this place?
Mid-July, about a month ago, I think, and hopefully we'll be in about 3 weeks.
Okay, what's your, not moved in yet, right?
Yeah. Don't ask me what the address is where I'm living.
Oh.
Something off of Old 179 in Wiggum, Georgia.
Oh, you're commuting from there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just temporarily. We sold our house over on Lake Jackson in May.
Okay.
And so, until this one's done, we're living at my in-laws' farm.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Patty Ketchum from Ketchum Realty. I don't know if you know her. She grew up there.
Okay. You bought the Lothian Drive place in mid-July, is what you're saying. Okay.
Correct.
All right. But it's just not occupied yet.
Correct.
Okay. And you sold a house on Lake Jackson or by Lake Jackson or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In May, and now you're living in
Wiggum.
Wiggum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is
On a farm.
Okay. That's convenient, at least you got some place to...
Yes, it's better than living with my in-laws. So, because at least they're not there.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so y'all...
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
But 50 minutes both ways gets old quick.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Especially when you have a nice house in town.
Are you an attorney, or are you a...
No.
Okay. I saw your title as something, I can't remember what it was, academic?
Director of Academic Programs.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of education you have for that?
I have a bachelor's degree in humanities, and I have about 40 hours of a master's degree in Renaissance studies.
Renaissance studies, okay.
What do you do with that in Tallahassee?
I don't know. I guess you're an academic program.
Exactly. You work at the law school.
Okay, well.
It kind of just sucks you in.
Okay.
You just gotta get there and you're stuck.
Okay. What was the name of your husband's company? Give me I'm having a head cold. Steel construction.
Uh-huh. They do pretty much everything.
Okay.
Hence why they went to the acronym, because they didn't want the misnomer that only they did metal buildings.
Okay. And what's your husband's name?
Aaron, same last name.
All right. How well did you know Dan Markel?
I mean, fairly well for a colleague. I rarely saw him outside of the law school, other than running errands at Costco and kind of in passing. We have good mutual friends. He was good friends with the Cohens, Tracy and Jeremy, and we're good friends with them.
Cohens?
But, mm-hmm.
I know he was a devout Jew.
Correct.
And I know you had a lot of friends from the Jewish faith and outside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming by your all's names that you're not Jewish or anything? Okay.
No.
And the Cohens are mutual with, and that was who?
Tracy and Jeremy. Jeremy spoke at his, at Danny's memorial, the local one. I would reckon to guess they didn't go to Toronto.
Right. Were you there at the memorial?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What business, what's the relationship there, connection?
They live on Trescott.
Oh.
So they're neighbors. They are Jewish, but they're not active in a synagogue or community.
But you all know, you know them.
We knew them well, yes.
But not from, obviously not from Temple, so it must be from,
No.
from business or.
Correct.
Okay. What kind of business is that, is Jeremy or Tracy?
You know, I'm not sure where Jeremy works now. I could probably think about it if I probably come up with it. Tracy owns Target Copy on Tennessee Street.
Okay. Are you in the same building as Dan Markel was in?
I was up until January of 2013 when the administrative offices, for the most part, moved to the old First District Court of Appeal.
So that's where you moved over to?
Yeah, and Dan's office was on the third floor in the other building,
In the original building?
in the original classroom building. Yeah.
Do you know about Dan's relationship with his ex-wife?
Mm-hmm.
Was it amicable as far as being at work and stuff?
I wouldn't say that people that didn't know them or hadn't spoken to them individually would really have probably picked up on it. I mean, yes, I know that the divorce was acrimonious at best. But I feel like their relationship when they were together at work was fine. I mean, I don't think people even knew they were married, to be quite honest. Her office is in the new building,
Oh.
and his was in the other.
Okay, so they didn't even
So-
have to cross paths in the same building.
No.
Okay. Did you ever hear of, I know there's a lot of blog posts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it's all buzzing over there still about this whole situation. Did you ever hear of him or anyone else being concerned?
No, I mean, I knew he was kind of one of the pioneers on social media and was kind of out there blogging before blogging was even coined as such. But I never heard anybody being alarmed over what he was posting, or I never heard anybody tell him he needed to tone down what he was posting or anything along those lines.
Nothing, no threat to the school or anything like that?
Not that made it to me.
Okay. You Monday through Friday,
Correct.
8 to 5, something like that?
Give or take.
Okay, no, not, but you're not working, you don't have any off time, you work throughout the whole year?
Correct.
Except for whatever vacation you
Correct.
schedule?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Obviously, whoever did this, it looks like it wasn't for any type of property gain.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't for anything other than the elimination of him. I don't know if that's already been discussed with you. I don't know what kind of, if you all have had any type of crisis counseling or anything like that over there. So we're trying to find out as much as we can about his life. It's hard to do when somebody's gone, especially, when they're divorced and everything else.
Yeah.
And trying to eliminate stuff as best we can and try to focus on the matter at hand, which is obviously who did this.
Correct.
One of the concerns that I have is that I'm not convinced that he did not have some type of personal relationship with someone from work, from his
Okay.
place.
Sure.
Okay. So I have to ask this question. Did you have any type more than a friendly relationship with him as far as coworkers?
No. No. I mean, without a doubt, no.
Okay. It's not your type, is that what you're saying?
No, and I mean, I liked Dan. He was a nice guy, but no. There are not any of them over there that would be appealing.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Did you know of someone else? Did you overhear anything like that?
I did not. No. There have been, I mean, there are rumors around, but I think that they're in jest. With a lady that works in our faculty support office, she recently lost a lot of weight, and they chatted a bunch, but I would be surprised if there was anything there.
Are you talking about between him and her, or they chatted a bunch, as in him and her chatted a bunch?
Him and her chatted a bunch.
Okay.
But as far as I knew, I was under the impression he had a girlfriend in New York. Not in
New York's a long way off.
Well, and I guess that's not precluding you from having more than one.
Well, no, but
I mean, if you're single after you've been with somebody for a long time, I can understand how that might go.
And I know, I have to ask some hard questions, and I hope you understand.
Of course. I mean, I want you to solve this as much as anybody else, just for his two precious boys.
Right.
So, but no, I can assure you I had no relationship with Danny other than mine in a professional capacity.
Okay.
So, I've been married for 7 years and have never remotely considered being unfaithful.
Okay. So. Well, this house on Lothian that you closed or bought or whatever in mid-July, when did you first put a contract on it? You sold the other one in May, you said, I think.
Correct. Gosh, probably, I don't know, it took a month to close.
A month?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was probably around Father's Day, so mid-June.
Okay. How'd you find this house? Did you?
We went to go look at a townhome on Pine Street.
Pine Street, yeah.
Over by Lafayette Park, and it was just too small for the two of us and our dogs. So my husband knew the owner of the townhome, and he called Patty Ketchum and said, her son Brett actually called my husband back. He said, about our contemporary, and said, hey, it just wasn't going to work out for us. It's too small. There's not enough storage. And he said, well, I don't know if you'd be interested, but my grandmother's house, she moved into assisted living. They're sprucing it up to put it on the market. If you'd like to take a look at it, then,
the one on Lothian.
we'll leave you the key. Yep.
Okay.
So it was never on the market. We just went and looked at it and decided we liked it.
Okay.
Good location.
So really, besides the Pine Street thing that you looked at, this thing just kind of fell right into place?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any particular reason that you wanted to leave the Lake Jackson area? I mean, you're going from the country more or less into the city.
Correct. My husband bought the house on Nanette Drive that we had before in 2006 in March. We met in June. Needless to say, it was not a street that a woman would particularly love to live on.
Oh.
We lived on the Lake Jackson, and our 3 homes that were on the lake were lovely, but the ones up the street were not really all that great, and we were looking for something that was more of a neighborhood.
Okay, I get it. So
it was just one cul-de-sac off of Old Bainbridge on the northwest side of town.
I know where that is off of Old Bainbridge. I haven't been up there in quite some time, but that I'm trying to think that's a dead end into the lake or something.
Correct.
And you had 3 houses?
There were 3 houses on the lake.
Okay.
We only had 1.
Okay, and the other 2 are occupied by their families, or? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then that brought you to move to Wiggum.
Correct, because we sold ours before we purchased the others.
Yeah, so I guess that's beats going to an apartment. Or
it does, and I mean, yes, and we weren't sure we were going to wind up even buying anything if we didn't find the right. I mean, my husband owns a construction company. Obviously, you're an intelligent man. You know how the economy has been lately. So we weren't sure we were going to find anything in a location that we would accept and a price point we would accept. So we got fortunate with what we did.
Okay.
Find.
All right, and
we were going to rent.
Okay. And this Wiggum is a farm or something?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a house, obviously.
Right.
And some acreage.
And this is belongs to the in-laws?
Correct.
So they're letting you stay there for, until the other place.
Until the other place is finished, correct.
You don't have to make that long drive anymore.
Correct. Yeah, it was fine for the first couple of months, but now it's just old.
The drive?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to determine why this is relevant.
Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I have to, like I said, we talk to people, we decide whether they can be excluded, included, excluded, and so on and so forth. It's this much after the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're not ready to make an arrest or anything like that yet. Okay. And everybody's, I don't know how many times, I talked to Manuel, who said.
He's my boss. You can imagine how interesting that is.
Yeah. I talked to, is he Spanish or Cuban
He's
or
Cuban.
something?
Yeah, he grew
Oh
up in
my
Miami.
gosh, I just want to pull the words out of his mouth sometimes.
And it's hard not to interrupt him,
Yeah.
and especially he's my superior in a professional capacity. When he's standing in my office, I'm like, I know where you're trying to go, but just go.
I get the image of pulling the rope out of him.
It is, yeah. He's a sweet man, but.
Here's the situation, okay? All right. There was an inquiry into Dan's residence,
Oh.
okay? Someone, if it wasn't you, I'm not sure who it is, but someone that's close to you made an inquiry into the residence where Dan lives. And that's why we're checking this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, we would have loved to have lived in Benton, I guess, but I don't like his house.
Have you looked at it before?
No. I mean, I only have seen it on the news footage.
Okay.
I don't even know which one his was.
Okay. Well, someone within, I'm assuming you don't have children.
No, and
Yeah.
we're not going to.
Oh, okay. But someone within your household, okay, has checked on this residence where he lived at his home.
Before he passed?
Yes.
Interesting.
So, I'll throw it back at you. You're a smart woman.
Yeah.
You know that this is something that I have to try to figure out.
Yeah.
And I've double checked, and another investigator has basically told me this is accurate, that someone from your house, your home.
On Annette Drive?
No, Wiggum.
Oh.
Wiggum.
Okay.
Has inquired on the residence where Markel lived, where this took place.
That's interesting.
So I'm kind of stuck here, and I'm pretty sure that you didn't do it at this point.
No.
And if you did, I just needed to know why, or if there was, or
No,
whatever.
that's interesting. Do you have a time frame?
It was early July.
Well, we would have been there by then. I couldn't tell you why anybody from that residence would have.
How many people live up there? Is this a?
No, I mean it's vacant.
I mean, is it just you and your husband that live?
Yeah.
Okay, when you all are not there.
No one's there. I mean, my in-laws use it occasionally. I mean, my father-in-law comes and tills the land and stuff like that.
Well, I understand that part.
Yeah, but no, I mean.
You don't have internet service there?
Yeah, there's Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Is it protected? Is it?
I would doubt it.
I mean, can I drive to the front door without having to go through a fence or something?
No. I mean, you could hop the fence.
How far is the house from the fence?
Oh gosh, I'm pretty sure it's a mile. I think it's a mile. Like if I ran it there and back, I think it's a mile.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a half a mile to the house.
This is a big chunk of property.
252 acres.
Well, Elizabeth, is there any reason that your husband would be checking on that property?
No, I mean, no, I can't. I mean, my aunt-in-law used to live on Randolph Circle in Benton, and they knew we were looking for a house, but I don't think they knew Dan and Wendi. I mean, the only thing I can think of
His
is...
house wasn't even for sale.
No, and the only thing I can think of is that maybe people assumed he was going to move, but I don't think anybody in my household would know. Maybe if he was getting divorced, he would consider a move. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I'm on Leon County Property Appraiser all the time, just looking up kind of property values and seeing how much people paid for their houses in relation to ones we're looking at. But we would have already put our offer in on our house early July.
You're already done. You're already locked into Lothian.
Correct. I mean, we hadn't signed the contract at that point, but we had already finalized the offer. I'm positive it was Father's Day weekend, so we would have signed the contract maybe the week following Father's Day, I think.
Father's Day was probably
June 15th, roughly.
Yeah.
So it would have been, I mean, we would have already signed
Okay.
that. Now, when you say inquiry, are you allowed to tell me, I mean, was it searching on Property Appraiser or somebody called Dan?
No, it was searching on Property Appraiser.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I could see that probably was one of us.
But for what purpose, though? For that particular... See what I'm getting at? I'm not...
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, because...
Maybe trying to figure out where it was in relation to Tracy and Jeremy's, or... I don't know, kind of trying to figure out what people in the area paid for their homes? I don't know. I mean, because you can look up foreclosure records and stuff, too, so I don't know if maybe it was just kind of on a search, and then you search by the street, and you're just like, oh, I know people that live there, and then click and see how much they paid for the house? I don't know.
Okay. Hence, that's why
Sure.
I didn't want to discuss that with your person on the phone in
Yeah.
school or anything. And I didn't want Manuel getting all stirred up with because if I showed up down there, you know, he'd be marching everybody in at one time. And
He would, and then Carolyn Egan would be there,
Right.
and everybody else. But
Right.
yeah, I mean,
I can't be around that many lawyers all at once. So
it wouldn't surprise me if I looked it up just to be nosy. But I don't know. I mean,
did you work through the week of the first week of July? Were you working?
yes. Did I take off any time? We go to the beach for the 4th. I was going to look at my calendar.
Go ahead.
I probably took off depending, I can't remember what day. The 4th was on a Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, I should have been at work. I can't.
You've been at work 4 days before that?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't have it. Granted, it doesn't look like all my appointments are picking up because I only have like dots on a certain day. But,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know, when something like this pops up, the first thing that I think of is it may be totally innocent. It may be something, but I specifically requested for that location. It wasn't neighboring locations. It was specifically for that, for the purpose to find out who would want to know where this man lives before they go to kill him.
Well, I can assure you I didn't kill him.
No, I know. I'm not saying you did, but I want to explain everything to you so you totally understand.
Sure.
I feel like I'm kind of blindsiding you here. But the other part is, hence I asked you if you had anything more than a
relationship. Sure.
Because that happens.
Yeah.
As much as people don't like to admit it,
I
it happens.
understand.
And whether it's totally innocent,
Correct.
a friendship thing, you know, something, but a spouse takes it the wrong way. I don't know your husband.
Yeah, no way in hell.
Okay, I don't know if he would see you and Dan talking or something like that and jump to conclusions or you know something along those lines. So hence that's why I have to find out. Now this was an inquiry. It was from your all's property in Wiggum, okay, and it was specifically for that location.
2200 Trescott or whatever the address was.
Right. It was specifically to that house. It wasn't searching an area. It was whoever was looking at it was specifically wanting to know about that house, Markel's house, and where it was located.
The only thing I can think is we were just being nosy. I mean, because I'm pretty sure my husband has never spent any time on Leon County Property Appraiser's website, so it's probably me.
Does he know Dan?
No. I mean,
You never met him?
Mm-mm.
Y'all don't have any type of functions where?
No,
Okay.
not social things like to where I mean, there's probably only a few faculty members that my husband's ever met, and those are typically like my bosses if he's come and visited me. And Dan has never been anything other than a professor. He's never been a dean. Like whoever my boss is a member of the faculty,
Right.
and it rotates every year.
Okay.
So like last year it was Jeff Kahn, this year it's Manuel.
Yeah, he's made it quite clear that he was only in this like less than 2 months when this happened.
And please let him only do it for 1 year. I mean, it's a tough position to be in where you're training your boss every year, but he's horse of a different color.
Okay.
But no, the only thing I can think of is that maybe I was just being nosy, knew that he lived there on Trescott by Tracy and Jeremy, and just looking to see where in relation it was. But I mean, we never even looked at homes. I never even went and looked at anything in Benton near him, near them. I mean, no, I didn't even know which one Dan's was until I saw the picture of it on the news.
Yeah, it's on Trescott, and like I said, it just so happened at the same time that I'm starting to look through, different faculty and administrative personnel.
Mm-hmm.
I get this information that
Yeah.
Boyette. I'm like, where's her Boyette there? There's a Boyette here.
Yeah,
This is
there
the same
can't be
Boyette.
that many.
Right, this is the same people. She works at the College of Law.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's something to this.
Yeah.
And that's what, does your husband have an arrest record, or has he ever been in trouble?
My husband's been on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. He's been in Rotary. He is appointed by the governor and sits on the construction industry licensing board. So he's been vetted. There's no way.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, the only thing I can think, we were just being nosy, looking people up and how much they paid for it. And I can assure you I did not want his house. Out of all of them in that neighborhood, that one is ugly. I don't like the garage on the front of it anyway.
Okay.
And I mean, no.
Okay.
I'm interested, though, that you suspect that he might have had a relationship with somebody at work, because we never got wind of that in our building.
Okay.
Granted, we're not as much in the weeds with a lot of the other staff.
Well, the whole, the concept is to keep it a secret.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people get careless.
Yes, they do. And that's the other reason I wanted to talk to you and other people there,
Yeah.
but discreetly, and not just go down there and
Exactly.
file people in and out, because
Sure.
I was like, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Sure.
Is because if there was something at his occupation,
Yeah.
at his job, someone might know about it,
Yeah,
but everybody else doesn't.
sure.
So that leads me, and I need that name if you can, of the woman that you said he was talking to, but you didn't think there was nothing to it.
Yeah, Dorinda Kirkland. I don't know if you've talked to her.
D-O-R?
Inda Kirkland. But they're friends.
The name sounds familiar. I don't remember the Kirkland, but the Dorinda
Yeah.
seems familiar. What's her position there?
She is the faculty support staff supervisor. So she works real closely with all the faculty and making sure they have all of their needs met in terms of textbook orders, their course blackboards, their class rosters.
She's year-round too.
Yes,
Faculty staff support.
faculty support staff coordinator. I think she has some relatives on TPD as well,
Okay.
but I could be wrong.
Okay. Hey, it's a small world when you start looking at this.
It is. I mean, Tallahassee's crazy small.
Yeah. All right. And this is the
But
woman that dropped some weight, and him and they were friendly.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not quoting you. I'm not telling anybody else. This is someone that he seemed to be close to at work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think she, had a friendly relationship with him. I don't know if they talked on the telephone or any of that kind of stuff, but I mean, and she's married too, and I kind of try to think the best of people, but probably doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, it things happen.
Yeah.
Long time. I've been married a long time, but there's things happen.
Yeah,
and
they do.
People
They do.
fall apart, and
Yeah.
they go to somebody else. Sometimes it's just temporary. I'm not judging. I'm just saying sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it's for long term, and that's reality. I mean, that's part of why that we have these type crimes.
Yeah.
The very possibility that this was part of it is either a jilted lover,
Yeah.
someone that had animosity towards him. That's why I asked you about the blogs and everything else. He put out a lot of opinions. He made a lot of people angry.
Of course.
Now, anger for one thing, and vehemently, typing on a keyboard might relieve some people's stress, but not everybody.
Well, and that's true. But Dan came to the law school, what, 05? I think. He's been there, I mean, he's one of the longest. Yeah. And I mean, I would, if I had ever wanted to have a relationship with him, I could have done it when I was single in 05.
Right. I'm in no way questioning, your honor to your marriage or anything like that. Everybody has to.
Yeah, I understand.
In your opinion, would there be anybody else besides Dorinda that I might talk to?
I mean, I'm guessing you've talked to his colleagues.
I've talked to a few of them, not all of them. Some of them are gone. They're out of the country and.
Well, and a lot of them too have. I mean, like I said, he's one of the longest. Now, it seems like as the law school's gotten higher, more highly ranked, people are coming for 3 years and then going. So there's a lot of people that have come probably in the time he's been there and already have left to go to another school. But I would think, I don't know which one of his faculty members, I mean, surely he's got to be close with.
He's close to a couple of them.
And I mean, we've got quite a few of them that are Jewish too, right. So they could have that in common as well.
And everything I read about this man, he's not the easiest person to get along with. That's quite obvious.
No. I mean, he had a good ego. Right. But I think that's probably what made him so successful too. I mean, you don't kind of get to that point at such a young age. I mean, he might have been the first too that got tenure, like the first time they went up early, I think as well. Okay. So I mean, he did what he needed to do to get where he wanted to get.
Just as make sure I cover this ground. Did you see any jealousy on other members
of the faculty?
Because you know what, the reason I look at that is when I was down there, I don't remember seeing you there, but I was down there and I saw the different titles. Mm-hmm. Like he was the D'Alembarte.
Correct, professor.
I don't know how much people pay attention to that stuff. Is that? I mean, I know it's an internal thing.
It is. It's actually an academic thing, at least. And I don't have really a whole lot of higher ed experience at the university level other than distance learning in the law school, but it's a legal academic thing. If you look kind of around the country, they all have these named professorships, and that's considered a bigger deal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then if you don't have the name professor, I can only think of maybe one person over the course of the time I've been there, which has been 11 years, that's just been professor without a name. Usually if they're going to promote you to professor or hire you laterally, they'll get you a named professorship. But like he might have been promoted before they got that professorship, but I don't think anybody really, I think people just kind of like rolled their eyes, it's Danny, just kind of, he was kind of a pompous ass, but he wasn't ever a bad dude. Okay. There are other people that are nicer and easier to deal with, but I never had a problem with him.
But somebody's got to take that. Somebody else is going to get this D'Alembarte title or whatever.
I don't know the answer to that. And that's something I hadn't even considered. But yeah, you may be right, or they just may. Because I don't know. Like typically, there are people that have donated money to be associated with the professorship.
Right.
And Sandy D'Alembert was former president of FSU and was the dean of the law school. I don't know if he donated money or they just gave it as an honorary title, but it would be unfortunate if nobody had that again, but then who would want it?
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
So that's a curious thought, okay. But that's why you're in your line of work and I'm not.
All right, so as far as this internet search thing, you're saying it would most likely be you?
I would think it would be me, just being nosy.
Would you look it up by name or by address or by?
Maybe both.
By both?
Yeah, I mean, I could have just been looking on Truscott. I mean, was it more than one search?
Well, I just know that particular
Oh,
property.
that IP, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is, I mean, we were looking at homes, and I'm nosy, and I like to look at what's for sale, especially after we bought that one, to kind of find out if we got a good deal. And,
Oh, after the fact?
yeah, and kind of just make sure that we're in line with, like, comps, and, I don't know. I think we got a good deal.
Okay.
I can assure you, we paid a hell of a lot more for that house than we paid for ours.
Okay, all right.
So, but I mean, ours is.
But you don't remember looking at that and seeing how much he paid or what the comps were to that for this?
For that particular, no. I mean, I knew whatever he would have would be out of my budget for sure. I would assume.
Well, Lothian's pretty nice.
Lothian's pretty nice, but yeah, I mean, we paid $165 for ours. I'm sure he paid well over that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure it was. I mean, I can't fathom my husband has ever been on Property Appraiser. I mean, we both sat there with the map after we bought ours and figured out who was our new neighbor.
Oh, on the property appraiser?
Yeah.
You had to show him and all that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. But, I mean, you're free to call him, but he's going to go, I couldn't pick Dan out of a lineup.
No, I don't think that's necessary. Yeah. I really, I think that this satisfies the inquiry. And, if you were searching around, I just don't see that Benton, my only concern is Benton is not really close to Lothian the way I'm thinking of it. I mean, I guess it's
they're both right off Thomasville. I mean, if you look at Waverly, here's Winthrop, right across Thomasville.
Right.
Directly.
Right, okay. But I can't, you're not telling me I looked up Dan Markel's house or Dan Markel's address for a comparison. You were just hitting on different houses.
Correct.
Okay.
And I knew he lived over there and probably searched Truscott. Probably saw a listing for Truscott, wondered if it was his. Maybe he and Wendi were selling it from the divorce or whatnot. I don't know. I mean, I knew they were getting a divorce or had.
But you don't remember actually seeing his name pop up for that particular house when you clicked on it?
Oh, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, I knew him. I mean, hell, I probably looked up the dean to see how much he paid for his house.
No, I'm saying I'm looking up your place on Lothian.
Yeah.
Say I'm interested in a house off of Waverly or something like that. So I'm clicking on each individual house type thing.
Yeah,
and if I recognize the name, I'll be like, oh, I didn't know he lived there. That's why I'm asking, do you remember that it came up when you did the search?
I don't know, because I knew he lived on Truscott, because I knew from conversations with Tracy and Jeremy years ago that their kids played.
Okay.
So I did know he lived on Truscott, but I couldn't have told you which house this was or the address.
So I'm safe to say that anybody that would have done a search in early July and that this came up as a connection, it would be you?
Yeah, I would, without a doubt. Because my in-laws have a poor life they lead. They have a beach house as well. And if it was around the 1st of July, they would have been at Cape San Blas. Oh. So it would have just been us.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, listen, we can stop there.
Okay.
And,
this has been a joy.
I appreciate your time.
It's no problem whatsoever. If you have any other questions, let me know. But, I mean, I hope you can find a better time for your resources, because then that'll mean you're getting closer to resolution for this.
Right.
And if anything else comes to mind, I'll let you know. I have your number now, but I don't think that it will, unfortunately.